Should the Seattle Mariners trade for starting pitcher Dylan Cease? Find out more in today's video. So in case you missed it, yesterday Bob Nightingale posted that the Mariners are showing interest in Dylan Cease and that the White Sox are looking for a package that involves Bryan Woo or Bryce Miller. So yesterday this had Mariners Twitter go in a frenzy about kind of whether it's worth it to really go after Dylan Cease, especially when you have a guy like Blake Snell who's a free agent and you can just go out and sign him, versus with Cease you'd have to make a big trade for him. But what's going into this trade thing as well is the fact that John Heyman reported this weekend that the White Sox are asking for the sun and the moon in exchange for Cease. So as expected, they are going to look for a lot in return for him. As obviously we all know, the White Sox kind of disappointed last year and they're going to want a lot of prospects and maybe MLB ready players in return, especially while the pitching market is high and Dylan Cease value is very high. Just to give a little bit of background about Dylan Cease's past few years, he posted a 4.5 WAR in 2021, a 4.4 WAR in 2022, and a 3.7 WAR last year, with 2022 really being his big breakout season, where he came in second in the AL Cy Young voting, and also posted an ERA of 2.2, which is absolutely ridiculous, and an 11.1 K per 9 as well in that season. Last year, he kind of came back down to earth a little bit and posted a 4.58 ERA, so really nowhere near where he was in 2022. And his K per 9 was down a little bit, down to a 10.88. Cease also has a little bit of an issue with walks. He posted a 4.02 last season in walks per 9, which is pretty high. But now the real question is should the Mariners really go out and trade for him? So this is a mock trade I saw in Jim Riley's video that he posted on X yesterday. And I had ended up actually reposting it on my Twitter account, and you guys went into a frenzy, and I don't think a single person said that they would do it. But essentially the mock trade is the Mariners received Dylan Cease, and the White Sox received Bryce Miller, Cole Emerson, Jonathan Clase, and Ben Williamson. Mind you, this is not my mock trade. This is just something I came across yesterday. But let's just start out with the obvious answer, and the answer is just no to this trade. There was a lot of you that even said that you wouldn't even trade Bryce Miller for Dylan Cease straight up. And part of that does have to do with the fact that Bryce Miller and Bryan Woo are down with the Mariners for another 6 more years of club control. While if you were to receive Dylan Cease, you'd only get 2 years of club control before he's a free agent again. So the biggest thing to me in this trade is the fact that the Mariners are getting no offense in return. So while yes, you could say Dylan Cease is much more experienced, which he is, than Bryce Miller, Bryce Miller's ceiling is extremely high and he can continue to just improve year over year. And again, you have him for another 6 years before he can go anywhere else. While Dylan Cease, yes, he had a fantastic year in 2022, but last year he did drop off a lot. And as I usually say in my videos, I do trust the Mariners pitching staff to fix any pitcher for the most part. So maybe they see something in him that they can really fix and make him a stud again. And I'm not saying that he's not a stud, I'm just saying right now in my mind he's a very good pitcher, but he's not a great pitcher. And another problem with this mock trade is we're giving up way too many prospects again in return for no bats. And with the White Sox, again, I may only be interested in about 3 other bats, with obviously Robert being at the top. And again, if you threw in maybe another major league ready player or maybe another prospect in with this deal and we're receiving Robert as well, I would do this trade in a heartbeat. But at the end of the day, the number one goal for the Mariners, if they're going to get rid of their starting pitching, is to receive bats in return. A lot of us Mariner fans believe we can get a lot of bats in return for someone like Bryce Miller or Bryan Woo. So just exchanging him for another pitcher really doesn't make any sense, and then throwing 3 major prospects on there as well. Maybe not major, but someone like Cole Emerson is definitely up there in the prospects. He ranked number 52 in Baseball America's top 100 prospects, so we're not just giving them some low-tier prospects. I've also seen a little bit of rumors about a 3-team trade with this, so I'd seen something possibly rumored that we would receive Manny Machado and somehow a 3-team deal as well as Dylan Cease. I don't really know the specifics of that, but I don't know if the Mariners would take on Machado's contract. But at the end of the day, the starting 5 in the rotation isn't the problem. We need bats, and major league ready bats that can go out and have already proven themselves at this level. Sure, could some people argue that Dylan Cease makes our starting 5 even better? Absolutely. But in what world does it make sense to go out and just basically exchange Bryce Miller and some top prospects for Dylan Cease straight up? Especially when you have Blake Snell just waiting to sign to a team, and he's obviously declined certain teams. So call me a little bit crazy, but I think Blake Snell may fall to us somehow. And again, some of you may completely disagree with that, but I do think there's something up the sleeve that Jerry and Justin are going to do. And truly, I wouldn't put anything past them to make a crazy trade and somehow sign Snell as well. Yes, that's me being a little bit optimistic, but I think they might be starting to realize how much value someone like Bryce Miller and Bryan Woo has, especially in this specific trade market. But again, in my opinion, before you trade Bryce Miller or Bryan Woo, you're going to want to sign Snell first, because you don't want to all of a sudden get rid of them for a bat, and then all of a sudden Blake Snell doesn't end up wanting to come to Seattle, or they don't offer him enough money for him to want to come. So kind of in the grand scheme of things, I do see why the Mariners may want to add some more pitching depth, especially with a guy of Dylan Cease's caliber who can come in and improve and put up a year like he did in 2022. But trading another starting pitcher just for him doesn't make any sense to me at all. And let's say for some reason they do decide to do this crazy mock trade, they need to get another bat out of it. And not just some guy that you're going to take a chance on and hope he does well, some guy that has proven himself year in and year out. But to be honest, I don't know if the White Sox are the team that you really want to do that with. There's a lot of other teams looking for starting pitching out there, and you could definitely get more of a haul and better bats from other teams. So I think my final answer is, should the Mariners trade for Dylan Cease? Yes. Should it be this kind of package and a pitcher for pitcher? No. But as we've seen, the White Sox are looking for a package with Bryce Miller or Bryan Woo, so I don't think it's really possible to even avoid that if you want to get him. And like I said, we already know they want a lot for him. So at the right price and for the right trade, I'm all for it, but the biggest issue is the bats, and we need to get in some major league ready bats. So please let me know down in the comments what you guys think the Mariners should do in this situation. It was definitely a shock to all of us that they were even showing interest in him, but I can kind of see where they're coming from. So let me know some trade you would want the Mariners to do for Dylan Cease, or if you don't want him at all. And I hope you guys did enjoy the video, and I will see you guys in the next one. Peace out.